Apple, iOS 17 ni zamenasklayakak? Apple will announce iOS 17 at WWDC in June. WWDC is Apple's annual developer conference where it unveils the newest versions of its operating systems for iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple TV, and Apple Watch. Apple has officially announced that WWDC 2023 will kick off on June 5 with a special keynote address focused on its newest announcements. Apple, Haziran Inda Wukt iOS 17 Duyurduktan Sonra, Gunslaman and Beta Sarumanu Gelastyrasai Lear Hemen Yin Layakak. Temuz Inda, Tum iPhone Kolanklern Denibula Sagi Herkes Ask Beer Beta Yin Layakak. Ardent and Apple, Matamelan Yeni iPhone 15 Ve iPhone 15 Pro Saralir Il Berlicht Ila Landa Herkes iOS 17 Yin Layakak. Whereas Apple hardware products leak months, or even years, ahead of time, software leaks are less common. This is because most hardware leaks come from Apple's massive supply chain, rather than from inside Apple itself. The company is able to keep software leaks to a minimum because only a small number of people inside Apple actually have knowledge of the company's plans. With that being said, the big picture of iOS 17 this year appears to be that it will be a relatively modest update in terms of new features, but there's a focus on nice-to-have changes. Bloomberg, Circuitan r/VR Kulakulgan Galisterilmzino Dockland Gichin iOS 17 in, Ve Apple and Digirism Platformlearn, Arca Koltukta Otter Dugunu Bilderdi. Kulakulkal microphone seti wukta dui Eurolabelier Ve Apple and Apple Watchtan Buyana Ilk Buyuk Yeni Donain Ve Yism Platformunu Asaridler. Apple is believed to be pulling hardware and software engineering resources from throughout the company to focus on headset development. iOS 17 is reportedly codenamed Dawn and is in continuous development and testing inside Apple ahead of WWDC. Bloomberg says the update may have fewer major changes than originally planned due to the focus on the Reality Pro headset along with iOS 16 snags. As we've explained, Control Center on iOS hasn't received any notable changes since iOS 11 and the launch of the iPhone X. This rumor claims that Apple is prepping major changes to the iPhone's Control Center in iOS 17. Currently, Control Center is currently accessible by swiping down from the top right of the iPhone's display. It features quick access to settings for things like Wi-Fi and airplane mode as well as the Now Playing interface. You can also customize the tiles at the bottom to include your most used settings. iOS 17 supported devices. Sihatslaren iOS 17 distekliaski kanyasunda berberile solizan iki soylenti var veher iki soylenti de daha unje dogru olan kynaklarden jello ire. The first rumor suggested that iOS 17 will drop support for the following devices: iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, iPhone 10, iPad, 5th generation, 9.7-inch iPad Pro, 1st generation, 12.9-inch iPad Pro, 1st generation. Shortly after that rumor was published, another source came out of the woodwork to say that all devices that supported iOS 16 will also support iOS 17. This source cited an anonymous person on Apple's iOS development team. Wrap-up. As we approach WWDC in June, it's possible that new leaks and rumors will shed additional light on what's to come with iOS 17 this year. In general, however, Apple is able to keep a lot of things under wraps until WWDC itself. What are you hoping to see in iOS 17 this year? Are there any particular features at the top of your wish list? Let us know in the comments. With that in mind, however, Bloomberg also reports that iOS 17 will have nice-to-have features that are intended to address some of the most requested features from users. The specifics here are unclear, but at least one rumor suggests one of Apple's focuses in iOS 17 will be on Control Center. New features in iOS 17, new Control Center? iOS 17. Iste Soylentler and Ozalikler, SKS Terrahieri Ve Daha Fazeless Hakda Soildekleri Buna Inanyada and Anmain, iOS 17 Sidis Burkas AIs and Jello Ire. Boo, Apple and iPhone Kolankler Ichin and Buyukism Gunsalamashini Temzel Eder Ve Genelikal Yeni Ozalikler Ve Digisikliklerl Daluter. Soylentler and Suonda iOS 17 Yeni Ozalikleri Ve Daha Fazeless Hakda Soildeklerini Topar Larkin Okamaya Devamedan.